Schmidts need to move 20,000 cattle onto 2 ships. To fill 2 ships, it'll take 125 trips, more than 20,000 kilometres, half the distance around the planet. Cattle trucker Shane Kenny has covered millions of kilometres.
It consumes your life, I suppose, but part of everyday life for us.
Transporting his livestock across the Outback.
We've got to look after the cattle and they look after us.
But this trucker has an alter ego. Shane is Australia's rodeo king. A veteran who's won dozens of titles. For him, this passion is about 3 things.
A calf, a horse and a cowboy.
This 41-year-old started competing as a teenager, and he's got the scars to prove it.
I had 2 knee reconstructions. I've got a horn went through my lip.
Now the time has come to hang up his cowboy boots.
I'm nearly ready to retire.
But before he does, Shane wants to win a record-breaking 15th national title.
Great while you go to rodeo, you win, you're like, yep. But time's running out, getting a bit more grey hair.
First, Shane has a mammoth week of trucking ahead. Early morning.
Yep, they're right, send them.
And Shane is loading.
We breed all our cattle for the rodeo roping game.
79 of his much-loved Texas Longhorns are needed for a rodeo 800 kilometres away.
Go on.
With a long drive ahead, the welfare of his passengers is everything.
Some of these are like part of the family to us. The last thing we do is hurt one of them. We're good to go.
Shane's load weighs in at a hefty 21 tonnes and is worth over $70,000. It's a big load that Shane can't afford to lose. But hidden amongst every herd lies a microscopic threat.
Paralysis tick will kill a calf and stuff, or your dog. Bloody blood-sucking little mongrels.
Ticks inject poison, killing over 10,000 cattle every year. To stop this deadly pest spreading, Shane's cattle need to get dipped and checked.
We'll run through the dip and hope it's all good. We can throw them back on and keep on trucking.
The success of his trip depends on this inspection. Just one tick, and Shane will be forced to turn back, jeopardising his entire run.
All right to go then?
Yeah, you're all right to go.
All right, thanks, Herb. No worries.
Good, Herb.
No worries. Catch you next time.
Thank you.
Shane can get on with his job, moving 79 head of cattle 700 kilometres south. The road is sealed, but it's narrow and bumpy.
This is a good bit of Queensland road and rough as guts. It's so narrow, your wheel rut on the outside there wants to pull you off the road.
Trucking livestock is one of the hardest jobs in the business. To keep his cows safe, Shane needs to take extra care.
Slam the brakes on and throws all the cattle forward and the one at the front gets squashed.
Up ahead, a chilling reminder of how things can go horribly wrong.
On its lid. Not a good sight, eh?
After a long day on bad roads, Shane's concerned about his passengers.
The main aim of the game is the welfare of the cattle.
He needs to find a farm to rest his cattle for the night.
Don't want to miss the turn off.
Turning his truck around on these narrow roads is the last thing he needs.
You end up bending something or breaking something, it'll just cost you time and money. Is this the one? I sort of remember, but not sort of really. There is a road here somewhere. There it is.
He's found the farm. But a narrow gateway stands between Shane, his cattle, and a good night's rest.
How do we go on that side there? I can't see. Oh, you're kidding.
He can't get through.
Too close, too wide by an inch.
Cattle trucker Shane Kenny is blocked by a narrow gate.
Too close, too wide by an inch.
He needs to deliver his cattle to a rodeo which starts in just a few hours' time. Shane is also due to compete.
Oh well, I'll have to back her up.
But while his rivals are resting, he's still hard at it.
I'll just have a look.
To pick the right line through the gate, he'll have to take his 21-ton load off-road
Yeah, I just don't like the look of it.
and hope he doesn't get bogged. He scrapes through.
All good, I think, mate. I think we're in. Now we're good now. Good that we're getting them off, finally.
It's been an exhausting late-night shift. In the morning, Shane and his cattle will need to be on top form. Shane's cattle are about to make their rodeo debut.
These are the younger ones, so it's their first time away from home. We're just putting these wraps on here. Don't hurt their little ears and under their horns.
They're going head-to-head against some of the best cowboys in the country. And they're doing him proud.
Not just giving a young man some trouble.
They're proving to be a bit of a handful for a few guys. So.
But now it's Shane's turn to get some valuable practice.
Cowboy from out of April, Shane Kenny.
Oh, we knew it was going to be good. We just didn't know how good it was going to be with a 9.268.
He's fast,
Go, gang, go.
but not fast enough.
What, 0.2 of a second? I was second, so that's the brakes, eh?
To win the National Rodeo Finals in less than 48 hours, Shane will need to do much better.
And again.
But first, he's got a trucking job to do. While his opponents prepare for the finals, Shane and stockman Terry have to deliver his rodeo steers to a farm 260 kilometres away. Getting there means climbing Australia's biggest mountain range.
Now we're going to go up the Toowoomba Range. A bit of a zigzag goat track. A little bit steep. I don't like hills too much. We're from flat countries.
With over 1 million Ks on the clock, it's a serious test for Shane's truck.
Yeah, the truck's running a little bit hot coming up here. You don't want to ignore that.
Push too hard and his engine could overheat, leaving him stranded.
Once they overheat, they're cooked.
As he hits the dirt, the temperature hits the red. He needs to work out what's wrong fast. If he doesn't, he'll miss his shot at the title. He hopes the problem is a simple coolant leak.
We haven't got much coolant left.
He's betting that a top-up will buy him enough time to unload his cattle and get to the finals. His rivals are already there, But Shane's still got 6 hours of hard driving ahead.
You know, everyone's gone up to Warwick already and they're relaxing. We've been driving around pretty much all day.
He's only just arriving.
Got to try and get around here without running into something or somebody. Hopefully there's a gate here and we can get through it. So. Ooh. What the hell? Oh yeah, I've got a post here on the other side.
With the most important rodeo of his career about to start, he's stuck. Again.
Gateway. Should be right now. Should be.
At last, he can focus on trying to win the national finals.
Just however the rodeo gods have got it planned, it's going to be.
They've been contracted to transport 800 head of cattle. It will take every truck in their fleet.
We've come to 3 trucks now. We've got Robert and Troy on board.
Outback truckers Robert Walker and Troy Barber will also both be hauling 3 double-deck trailers, each weighing 108 tonnes and stretching 53 metres.
Just go up there and pull me up if you can at the front ramp there.
David and Kylie's truck is refusing to move off the starting line.
It's like me, it doesn't want to get out and going.
Got a brake locking on here somewhere. Not even at the ramp yet, to load.
Rob discovers a blockage in a line, controlling the trailer's air brakes. Tapping the air tank dislodges debris, blocking the air lines and disengages the brakes so the truck can move.
There you go. Not too bad. Another 20.
3 a.m. The upper deck for the first truck is loaded before they raise the ramp and load the lower deck.
That seems awfully slow. It's not even going up.
The ramp is powered by batteries in the truck, but it appears to have lost power.
Where's your jumper leads? Must be a broken wire somewhere, Rob.
With time slipping away, David tries powering the ramp by jumper leads connected to the battery in the farmer's 4-wheel drive.
You've got the round the right way, mate. Just sparked a bit up here. Up in there. No, you got it round the wrong way.
Well, just swap the black to red. Put the black around the other way. Go!
You know, and it's good now, the power of the car got the ramp back up, so it must be either a broken wire from the trickle feed from the truck to the trailer that doesn't power up our batteries. Without that ramp, you're buggered. It's a necessity. Had a bit of a bad start. Hope the next two are better.
3:30 a.m. Behind schedule, they finally start to load Rob's 3-trailer road train.
What time did you want to be left here by?
Yeah, I wanted to have Rob loaded by now.
Well, that's what I thought.
What have we got here now?
What's happened?
It's been one technical hitch after another, and the bad luck is not over yet.
What have we got here now?
What's happened?
In central Queensland,
Yeah, I know.
David and Kylie Hornick are facing yet another delay in getting 800 head of cattle on the road.
Yeah, the little handle just broke off before. Rob must have too many wet picks.
The handle unlocks the trailer's loading ramp. The team needs a solution fast.
Bit of brute muscle and a bit of lube to lube that hinge up.
A bit of grease on the hinge gets the ramp moving again.
There's a little bit of duck shit weld on there. Christ. I wonder it broke.
It's 3:30 a.m. and they still have 2 more trucks to load.
Delays always make it hard on the cattle. That's the thing you just got to be cautious with.
The longer the cattle are in the trucks, the more stressed they become, causing them to lose weight.
Probably take another half an hour, 40 minutes to load this one if all goes well.
How's your count going?
Yeah, like a game of tennis, I'm like.
Come on, off you go.
4:30, and David's convoy is finally loaded with cattle.
Yeah, all loaded up now. We'll just do the paperwork and we'll be on our way. There's a few setbacks there, so we won't worry about having a cup of tea until down the road there somewhere. There's no fences on these places. You might have a few wild pigs. Always the old cow walking about.
Roos do a big damage too.
Roos. Watch out, you got a roo just in front of you. You're right. So we definitely got to look out.
Every trip we do together, I get nervous that, you know, both parents are on the road and it's so dangerous sometimes.
For my old fella, he drove trucks too and he died in the truck. So,
He was 27 and you were 7.
I sort of done a tribute. I got his a photo airbrushed on the back of the bunk there. Wanted to do something, so he was always with me.
Every time something goes wrong or something, I always say, come on, John, help us out, pull us through. And I think that he always does. I just got a message from Mum, David, and she's gonna take the kids into Mitchell and watch us come in so they can wave goodbye.
All right, that'll be good. It is starting to heat up out there, so the next sort of worry are some tyres blowing, but just cross our fingers they don't blow.
With the mercury pushing 40 degrees Celsius, if the convoy stops, they risk the cattle overheating.
Doing pretty good time. We might not even have tea at Longridge. You might even have a bit of tea in Winton, maybe.
If the convoy can make the 500 kilometres to Winton with no further delays by 6 p.m, they will have clawed back the time lost for loading.
Got rubber up here, got rubber.
Blow your tyre up.
Oh, bloody hell. So we'll find the next parking bay and we'll get in and give a hand and change it out.
With 800 cattle left standing in the searing heat, time is critical.
We'll get this done as quick as we can and get back on the road, get the breeze through the cattle.
But it's not as simple as just changing a tyre.
He's buggered. Yeah, you buggered the guard. Wait a minute.
A blown tyre has bent a steel bar supporting the truck's mudguard. If it's not fixed, it will damage the replacement tyre.
That'll do all right. Good as gold, mate. All changed, ready to go. Pack our gear away and get up.
Hey, up you get.
One of their passengers is not so keen to get back on the road.
Just found one down in the back pen here. We've got to get him up, so I'll get David to get the jigger and get him up.
Don't want him to sit down just in case they get trampled on.
He just wants to lay there.
Get up, get up.
With the convoy back in action, Kylie takes over the driving.
Where's the seat thing?
Between your legs like they always are.
This is the first time she's driven a fully loaded triple road train.
And you gotta push it, yellow button in.
Oh, really? Thanks for that.
See, you don't have your clutch in enough.
Yes, I do.
Don't rev it up too much.
Yes, gearbox.
Just steady, mate.
I'm too close, mate. That's what I was saying to you.
Well, you need to be that close to put your throttle down. You don't need to rev it that hard.
No, I find the hardest part is to listen and do what I'm told by my husband. so I don't like doing that much. But he's the one with the knowledge and the experience, so I've just got to listen and do exactly what he says and I'll be fine. My palms are sweating.
Doing great. Great first time loaded.
3 hours later, as she approaches their destination,
Change down.
driving instructor David wakes up.
Up to his bull bar. Brake. Brake.
I'm
Brake.
trying.
Neutral.
Anyway, I made it.
While David makes a quick engine inspection.
There's a little hose coming off in the top of the water pump there. And looks like it's just seeping out of the top of the fitting.
David's engine coolant hose is leaking, and it could bring the journey to a grinding halt.
If that hose blows and we're at the back of nowhere, well, you'll just stay there. You'll have to sleep with the cows on and unload the next morning. Not good for anyone, not an option.
Yeah, no, it's as hard as anything, mate.
Yeah.
They've had to call in a local mechanic.
Yeah, we've got to drain your coolant out, bud.
Yeah, no.
We've got two choices here. We're going to get the gear and bring it up here, or you just drop it off and just come to the workshop and we'll do it there.
What's quicker?
Oh, well, I mean, going in there is obviously quicker, because everything's right there, you know.
Yep. You're just going to unhook.
The breakdown is more than just a delay. The cattle must be taken off the trailers every 48 hours for a rest break of 12 hours.
So yeah, we'll just run down here, only take us 20 minutes or so. You're just going to quickly drop the coolant and do that hose, pump it back in, and then we'll be on our way.
Already 24 hours into their journey, the convoy can't afford to keep losing time.
It is urgency that they do not stand on the trailer for too long. We need to get them there and they're our main priority.
Drop the coolant. We'll make a new hose and whack him on. Drained it and got the hose off, nearly put the new one back on already. Thanks again, Pete.
Thank you.
You're very welcome.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
That's what we're here for.
Yeah.
Have a good night.
Thank you, mate. I know it's annoying, half hour, 40 minutes, but like Pete said, he doesn't really reckon that it would last much longer.
With the truck fixed, time to get moving again.
Righto, these boys checked your cattle, so all we need to do now is hook up and we're on the road.
We're back on the road again. It's good to see.
Corrugation's real good up here.
Nice. We've come into a fair bit of corrugation here. We're now back down to 17 kilometres an hour, and you can't see 2 foot in front of you from the dust because it will just not blow away at all. I could get out and walk quicker than this.
Down to walking pace. David's increasingly worried about the cattle.
The cattle are on there longer than they should be, but not much you can do about it. Can't wait to get these poor little fellas off. Well, we're finally bloody here. Christ. What a journey that last leg was.
The convoy has reached the feedlot where the cattle are unloaded.
So we've met our final destination and all the animals walked off. That's the main aim for us.
Next morning, David and Kylie's 3 road trains are ready to roll out.
We're going to just make our way into Winton, and today's supposed to be a travel day home.
We're back on the road again.
But trucks returning empty will be costly.
An empty truck never pays any bills.
They're desperately in need of a backload, which as independent contractors, they'll have to find themselves.
We can make a few phone calls and change that and maybe pick up some work on the way.
Out here in the Australian Outback, the stations are so vast that to move their herds from one pasture to the next, farmers need trucks.
We really can't afford anything to go wrong today.
There's a bit of a smoke hazard up here. Heaps of smoke.
But up ahead, trouble.
big rush of fire and we might catch a light. I can see in front of me the flames or something. I'll pull up like quickly on this side. Just have to wait it out.
In scorching northern Queensland, David and Kylie Hornick's cattle convoy is heading for a trucker's worst nightmare, a raging bushfire.
Fairly smoky up ahead, so better start backing it down. There's some good big flames right there, and the wind's blowing right on top of us. Big rush of fire, and we might catch a light.
The majority of bushfires in Australia are caused by lightning.
Just have to go slowly and stick to our side of the road. You just lose all visibility. Flat out seeing what's past the bull bar. The flames are up nearly as high as the crate. Wouldn't be a good way to go. Anyway, we're starting to come out the other side of it now, so thank God for that. Just keep it straight, keep it straight, keep it straight. Good girl.
Yeah!
Don't worry about it, you're done well.
I hate that sound, but I'm not going to jeopardise oncoming traffic, our lives, for one kangaroo.
Another remote station, another 450 head of cattle to load.
All good. Hey! Hey! Come on, turn around. Hey! Hey!
Going really good. Nearly all done. Got, what, one deck to go.
Well done, boys.
You're wet.
Knocking the soot out of me.
Team Hornick is back on the road, heading into the darkness.
Off to Roma now.
Another 5-hour and 410-kilometre drive to the unloading point near Roma.
There's a fair bit of dust about, so I'm just trying to poke along back here so I'm out of the dust. Just pulled up at Kintillock here. Now we'll unload all the moo cows.
Made it on good time. They all walked off, so can't hope for any better, really.
I'll just get up there.
25-year-old Belinda Reel is a natural-born trucker.
Yep.
She's tough. Loves her load.
We're going to load these cattle early to keep them cool.
And her rig.
Men won't get in here because she won't perform for them.
As a third-generation livestock trucker, Belinda knows there's no joking when it comes to the job.
I've got probably over 70 tonne on here behind me now that I'm in charge of right here behind this wheel.
She has just 12 hours to deliver 80 head of cattle to a market 800 kilometres away, on dirt, winding back roads and down a mountain. It's a beast of a challenge. And with heavy rain forecast, one slip could cost Belinda her load.
Bit of water around.
And her life. At a cattle farm, Belinda arrives to load her double road train. It's a dangerous time.
That's it, girls, go up!
If any of the 600 kilo plus animals get spooked, they could panic and charge,
Push up that road, up!
putting theirs and Belinda's life at risk.
Hey, boys, hey! Down. Sometimes you can get them ones that realise, no, I'm not doing this, and try to come back out.
Right on cue.
Get in there!
One passenger's having second thoughts. Belinda's in luck. The runaway's quickly back on board, but it's refusing to go into its pen. With 70 tonnes of cattle loaded, Belinda can get underway.
I've got twice the weight behind me now as when I do when I was empty.
Travelling on a narrow dirt track with a load that's constantly moving takes huge skill.
To look after these cattle is to be prepared that there's a lot of other people on the road.
Oncoming traffic is a constant hazard.
Anything can go wrong.
Sudden moves or braking can cause a rollover. Then,
It seems as though we've got a vehicle coming at us.
a car's heading straight for Belinda. The driver's refusing to move over.
Gonna have to get over, love.
If they don't make room, a collision could be seconds away.
What are you doing? Couldn't quite see that I'm coming out of the creek up the hill, need to get the power going, and she wouldn't get over, so she should sit in the middle. Steady.
Despite her 12-hour deadline, she must stop regularly to check her animals. And in the rear trailer, there's a problem.
Drains are in, so the water's causing shit in there.
A blocked drain is causing sewage to back up.
I just tried to lift that bung out at the back. Hopefully don't get covered in shit.
To release the bung, Belinda must reach inside the trailer. But there are risks.
Get me hand kicked.
A 600-kilo animal could break her arm in an instant. And Belinda's cattle are jumpy. Time for Plan B. Attack the blockage from below. Less chance of getting kicked, but more of things getting messy.
Hopefully don't get covered in shit. Just let the shit run out of the drain.
With the dirty work done, it's just another day in the glamorous life of a cattle trucker.
Shit, good stuff. Dirt, good stuff. What more would you do in your job?
While Belinda's back on the road, the stop has drained not just the sewage, but an hour of precious time. With just 8 hours left to cover 600 kilometres, she's decided to take a dirt road shortcut.
There is bitumen roads around us, but we've taken this alternative. Well, I've got someone else's cattle on. I've got a huge responsibility.
It's quicker, but riskier. If bad weather hits now, the road could become impassable in minutes.
If it rains, we're not going to get the truck out of it. It's not fun being stuck.
Get stranded with a full truck, and the delay could risk Belinda's freight and her family's business.
If we get stuck here for too long, days, they're just going to have to be jumped off.
Belinda Reel has gambled on a dirt road shortcut.
We've just got to keep going.
But there's a worrying sight overhead.
Gets a good rain on it while we're going across here, we could be stuck on here.
Rain is bad news for any cattle trucker. On dirt, it can be a showstopper.
Guess what? It does look like rain up here in front of us, but anything could happen.
As she gets back on the black stuff, there's more trouble below.
Just look at it. Bad piece of bitumen in the middle of the road.
The rough surface is making it tough for the cattle to keep their footing. If they fall, they risk being trampled to death.
So I can feel something's not right back there. These cattle lie down. I'm going to have to get them up, and we ain't just got like little cattle on. We've got some big cattle on here.
Belinda's working hard to drive as smoothly as possible. But then,
There's one with its foot out the side.
an animal's in trouble. Belinda needs to stop. Any sudden movement could break the exposed limb. It's too big a risk to pull up on the winding back road.
Can't just pull up in the middle of the road anywhere. but actually find a parker bay safe for myself and the load.
If she can't get off the road soon, it could be too late. She needs to get the cow up, and quickly.
Hey! Hey! Get up! Get down! Hey! Get down! Hey! Oh, good, gave him a little check. And everything's good.
While everyone's safe and sound, the stop's eaten up 30 more precious minutes. With 150 kilometres to go, her deadline's barely 2 hours away. And now, conditions are treacherous.
Bit of water around, could be a bit slippery.
One twitch on the brakes and Belinda could aquaplane into disaster.
I've actually had to slow down. I can't see.
She must hold her line and plough through the deluge. Until finally, the downpour has lifted. While she's through the storm, her troubles are far from over. Ahead is the Toowoomba mountain range. 6 kilometres of sheer, winding and now wet road. Used by thousands of trucks a day, it's a notorious accident black spot. In a fully loaded cattle truck, one mistake could be your last.
It's going to be slippery. Just come through the last set of lights and start preparing for the range.
As she hits the descent, Belinda needs to keep her cattle stable. Any sudden shift in weight risks rolling the truck.
I want to go down here without throwing the cattle around and bruising them. I just want to go down here, everything being cool and calm.
Controlling her speed is critical.
I don't want to have to use the brakes unless I really need to.
Belinda must use the right gear and not her right foot to keep the truck safe. The slightest error could be fatal.
Anything can go wrong down here. We play with these sort of toys, these sort of things happen. I've got to be in control of it, not to have the vehicle and the weight behind me be in control.
Metre by metre, the massive rig strains to hold on to the wet road. But at last...
I never even had to touch the brakes, which is a good thing.
Schmidts need to move 20,000 cattle onto 2 ships in only 3 days.
It's not cornflakes. You don't just load them and go. You have to take care of them.
To fill 2 ships, it'll take 125 trips, more than 20,000 kilometres, half the distance around the planet.
Until the last beast goes on, we can't rest.
Keeping the cattle and the trucks moving is 31-year-old Brenton Holmes' job. As the operations manager and a driver for Schmidts, he's got his hands full.
As far as cattlemen go, they don't get much bigger than 20,000 head at a time. You started loading out there, or?
No, not yet.
The day's just started and Brenton's already playing catch-up. His trucks are bumper to bumper at the yard when they should be heading to port.
We're meant to start at 10:30 now.
At the port, the exporters are waiting.
They are live animals and we need all trucks to be on the go.
The boat's right to start loading and we're half an hour behind the plan.
If the ships are held up, they'll have to pay a fee to the port, costing thousands of dollars. But there's more than just money at stake.
It is a 36-year business. We've been doing this for a long time and we have a huge reputation to uphold.
With a truckload of expectation and $18 million worth of cattle waiting.
A lot of money. A lot of money.
Brenton can't lose any more time. On Brenton's truck, 120 steers. It's just a tiny fraction of the mass exodus of beef Brenton is in charge of.
We've got 18 trucks lined up. See, we've got nearly 20,000 head of cattle to go on 2 live export ships. So, yeah, we don't need anything to go wrong. They can soon go on a ship, yeah.
In the truck ahead of Brenton, Ross Sanderson, originally from Lancashire. Ross is getting to port as fast as he can. But when carting cattle, push too hard and things can go horribly wrong.
Drive real gentle, so you're not shaking them around. You definitely can't do any emergency stops because you'll put a mast overhead and that's how you kill them, mate.
Close to the port, Ross pulls over to check his load.
Check them every so often just to make sure you haven't got one down.
A small steer has fallen over. It's in serious danger of being trampled.
And we just need to stand them up so they don't get squashed.
The other cows aren't helping. It's safe on all fours. Ross needs to keep moving to the waiting ship.
Well, we're nearly on the wharf now. We're just outside the wharf gate.
But there's a delay. 3 trucks are lined up in front of Ross.
Yeah, we've got a bit of a hold up. Just play the waiting game.
After 30 minutes, nothing's moved. By the time Brenton gets there, the traffic jam has grown.
6 trucks in front of me lined up, waiting to get in and unload. That makes me wonder if something's gone wrong. What's the drama? What's the hold-up?
Nearly half of Brenton's trucks are now stuck in gridlock, with 1,000 restless cattle inside. If this ship doesn't get loaded soon, other ships could get delayed, causing big waves at the port. Finally, after a 2-hour delay, Brenton's operation is moving again.
They must have had to do a deck change over on the ship, so... Go on!
He needs to get 20,000 head of cattle on board in less than 72 hours.
Until the last beast goes on, we can't rest. We've got to keep our wits.
Not helping the situation, he's got 2 reluctant passengers.
Oh, I've got one that's down there, mate, yeah. Go on! Hey, hey, hey! Ho!
And no amount of coercing is getting them off.
Yeah, the couple is a little bit crooked. And I'm going to get a break to go on the next boat.
It'll cost precious time. But Brenton needs to take these 2 back to the yards.
They're a bit exhausted by the time they got to the boat, so we'll take them back out here and give them a chance to recover. They'll go on another boat in a couple of weeks' time.
Meanwhile, the other trucks are still going flat out.
So this is trip number 3 for the day. There's another one to do yet.
By the time Brenton gets back to the yards, the fresh air has worked wonders.
Up and walking around, all right? The run back out here, sort of recovered a bit. Right.
Next morning, and after some much-needed rest, the truckers are back into it. 6,000 cattle have been moved. 14,000 still remain. For the drivers, it feels like a never-ending job.
Once we start, we've got to keep going. You can't dawdle around. It's a big deal for everything to run smooth, to get them cattle to the port as quick as you can.
Frustrating many drivers are constant delays and changing plans. And now Brenton is having to make another change.
A couple of the guys will have to do 3 runs to go to Kelly.
For two of his drivers, it's 2 hours more work. After yesterday's grueling day, it's the final straw.
Why don't you tell everyone else what you're doing? Look where we are now, we got held up. Oh, yeah. Don't quit point the blame. It's always someone else's fault, some stuff. There, I'll drag you into that cab and wipe my ass with you.
The strain of this massive job is starting to take its toll.
Big canoe, all right? Very, very big ship.
She leaves port in 13 hours. But she still needs another 8,000 head. That's 40 more road trains, needing a lot of organising.
Yeah, a lot of people just don't understand how many cattle are going on the ships.
But all day there's been no sign of head organiser Brenton. The radio argument wasn't missed by boss Liz, and there's been fallout.
Just a little bit of drama here this afternoon. I've sent Brenton home. It's been a long day for him. Also, I've taken charge.
The other driver in the argument has been fired.
It's about teamwork for us. You have to be a part of the team or you don't stay.
Losing 2 key players at this stage is a serious blow.
Certainly stuff we don't need. We've got 2 of the drivers who actually stepped up and said that they'll help us out by doing a couple of extra ones.
One of those drivers is Ross. But on the road, things aren't going well.
We should have probably passed about 5 triples by now, and I think we might have passed 1, so I'm thinking there could be a bit of a drama going on there, but we'll find out, I suppose. Yeah, we got to hold up. There's a big line up there now. Looks like we're going to have a big wait.
Liz stepped into Brenton's shoes only hours ago, and she's playing catch-up.
I've got 8 trucks lined up here at the moment, just waiting for the vet to come in from Charters Towers. Needs to be a vet here before the cattle go on to the trucks.
Every exported cow needs to be inspected by a vet. Right now, he's a no-show.
It's just a hold-up that we don't need.
5,000 cattle still need to move onto a ship which sails tomorrow morning. It's now 10 p.m. These truckers have 8 hours to load the ship. It's coming down to the wire. Finally, after a 3-hour delay.
Away you go.
With the cattle checked, it's a race to the finish.
We got 3 gone. This is the 4th one. Yeah, right on, mate. I'll go and get my truck. We're finally going to get loaded up.
25 road trains need to go in 6 hours. With every load, Liz can breathe a little easier. After a long night, only a few cattle remain.
Yeah, 3:30 in the morning, but that's all good.
Liz and her army of truckers have pulled it off. But expat Kiwi Sludge Andrews has come home to work.
Why do these have to drive so slow?
Battling bad weather.
Stunning day.
And wild beasts.
Come on. Now I know why I gave up carton stock. Liquid never stops.
New Zealand is home to some of the world's toughest trucking runs. Single-lane bridges, narrow, precarious winding roads. Dangerous even for cars. Put a wheel in the wrong place on this run, and it won't end well. If that wasn't hard enough, Sludge is carting one of the most unstable loads around, 30 tonne of live cattle.
Nice to meet you. Yeah. All right, let's get this thing set up, I suppose.
These prime Kiwi cattle are big and nervous. With each steer averaging 600 kilos, Sludge is punching well above his weight.
So this will be interesting because it's a long time since I've done a load of cattle, so Right.
He has to get each animal safely on board. But cattle can be unpredictable during loading.
They're reasonable sized buggers, aren't they? Come on. Hup. Up we go.
Time to head into the danger zone.
Come on. Hup.
Sludge needs to have all the steers in the front 2 compartments.
Hup. Come on. Come on.
But up here, if one turns on him, there's nowhere to run to or hide.
Come on, boys. Come on.
The first load of cattle are safely on board. For Sludge, it's all going to plan.
No, it was good. A bit of a sweat up this hour of the day. Sludge 1, cattle 0. These bastards aren't getting me today.
His load might be behaving, but his truck is a different story.
Whoop, there we go, we've polished a box.
Sludge has one more pickup before his mountain crossing.
We got a few here, have we?
28.
Yeah, alrighty. We'll get into it.
This final loading is critical to the success of Sludge's entire journey.
Hup.
If he doesn't put the right number of cattle into each pen,
Come on, boys.
his double-storey truck will be unbalanced. On the side of a mountain, that could be disastrous.
Come on. Hey up. Come on, boys. Get round, you bugger.
Sludge needs to be on his guard.
Whoa. Come on. Hup.
But Sludge isn't backing down.
Come on. So I was trying to get the gate shut, and then I went arse up myself. Yeah, bit of fun.
After a close call, all 45 of his passengers are on board. Finally, Sludge can hit the long and grueling road to Greymouth. His first big test lies just outside the farm gate. An uneven and winding single-lane dirt track.
These bloody hill tracks up through here, they're a bit different roads than we have at home.
With a shifting, high and top-heavy load, Sludge needs to take it easy. Get it a little wrong, and some cows could fall over. Get it a lot wrong, and his truck could fall over. On the bitumen, and things haven't improved much.
No room here for sleeping.
After 2 hours of intense concentration, Sludge is forced to pull over to make his first offload.
That's just from the cattle that we loaded this morning. That's what they've pissed and shit since we loaded them.
In New Zealand, livestock haulers are required by law to offload effluent.
They have tanks on everything, so it just catches all the shit and stops it going on the cars and the poor tourists.
Dumping the waste is also vital for the comfort and health of the cattle.
Righto.
The back trailer has been flushed clean. Just the front trailer to go. But there's a problem.
It's blocked.
The only way out is to fix things himself. But if Sludge isn't careful, his amateur plumbing could backfire.
Ah, nice booze.
There's movement. It's a huge relief for Sludge.
There you go. That's good Kiwi shit. Builds better bodies.
But now it's Sludge that needs to get moving. The cattle must be delivered by 6. It's now 1. 350 kilometres and a mountain range still stand in his way.
We're running a bit late, and if it gets too late, they might not want to unload them, and we'll have to go somewhere else to get them off.
Finding last-minute lodgings for 45 cattle would be a nightmare.
We've got to keep pedalling now, or we want them off tonight.
But the road ahead is clogged with slow-moving tourists.
They have about 3 months of the year where it's tourist season.
Sludge isn't used to sharing the road on his Outback runs.
Come on, hurry up.
Overtaking on these narrow roads isn't for the faint-hearted. For the most part, the cars are making room.
Thank you, mate.
But now, 3 cars that won't budge.
You've got to be shitting me. Why do these f***ers have to drive so slow?
Finally, there's a passing lane and a chance to make a break for it. The dawdling driver decides to accelerate.
Just a moron.
Eventually, the car turns off and Sludge can say farewell. The steep mountain pass is just 50 kilometres away. Sludge wants to check his load before committing to the climb.
We're just pulling in now. We're going to just go through and check these cattle are right.
It's the last thing he wanted to find.
Hup! Hup! Come on! Hup!
A steer has toppled over.
He's laid down and we can't get him up.
And is in a dangerous position. If Sludge can't get it back on its feet, it's at risk of being trampled to death. A passing trucker offers some expert help. The cow pinned to the floor of the crowded pen isn't budging. But the other trucker's got a plan. To offload some cattle onto his truck, giving the fallen cow the room it needs to stand. With the cow now standing, Sludge needs to get the cattle back onto his truck.
Come on. So that's given them a bit more room down the bottom.
With valuable local help, he's dodged a disaster.
We'll head up the road now, get moving again.
Sludge is now running very short of time. But ahead, he needs to be completely focused on the road.
That's when the hills and all the fun begins. That's one of probably the biggest hills here, so we'll see when we get there what it's like, I suppose.
At the foot of the ranges, Sludge starts to mentally prepare.
Just take it steady and make sure I don't make any mistakes.
Time to get into it.
We're doing 20 kilometres an hour, but she's fair working.
It's steep and riddled with blind corners. Even on the straights, there's no room to move, with a cliff on one side and a sheer drop on the other.
Just got to be careful we don't hit the rocks with the side of the crate if it leans over.
And now, the climb is getting steeper.
She's pulling hard to come up through here. We're doing all of about 12 kilometres an hour.
Sludge is wrestling with the gearbox.
Oh, that jumps up steep.
On this steep hill, miss a gear and stall, and Sludge will never get moving again.
Pulling hard to come up through here.
He's made it up the mountain.
It was a lot steeper than I thought it was going to be.
But this job is far from over. 250 kilometres are still left to drive. And Sludge's deadline is only 4 hours away.
Now we're heading for the meatworks. We're running a bit late. I guess too late. They might not want to unload them and we'll have to go somewhere else to get them off.
Finding last-minute lodgings for his cattle would be a nightmare. Sludge needs to push on.
This hill's obviously all slipping down. They get avalanches here all the time.
A rockfall could close this narrow mountain pass.
In the middle of nowhere.
The hold-up could be anything from an accident to an avalanche.
Don't know what to go with that traffic, this.
The only other route across these mountains will take 4 more hours. Time Sludge doesn't have. Roadworks are the cause of the delay.
She's a bit narrow down through that bit.
Sludge has 3 hours to drive 200 kilometres.
Strap yourself in and hang on. Here for a good time, not a long time.
On a road not built for speed.
Yeah, we've got to make sure we get these hamburgers upright.
Nor comfort.
You wouldn't want to be getting car sick. You're hanging out spewing. Jesus Christ. I'm going to run down this valley. This will be pretty windy and just tight down through here, I think.
And now, more roadworks. To get through these mountains, Sludge needs to follow this high river gorge.
Holy look at that. What a bloody ripper view that is. Basically, we're just going across the top of the river from one valley to another. Pretty spectacular, I reckon.
While the view is breathtaking, it's a 35-metre drop to the water below. Sludge's wheels are just centimetres from the rail.
He's a bit narrow here. No, come back if you fall over there.
He needs to be looking ahead, but behind, a car is threatening to overtake.
You f***ing going or what?
The indecisive driver makes his move, distracting Sludge at the worst time.
Whoa. Scared the shit out of me.
For the last 10 kilometres, Sludge has been following a high mountain valley. But now, the most dangerous section of his route.
Now we got to head down.
A steep descent to the coast.
Look at that.
Sludge is nearly 1,000 metres above sea level. Getting his 40-tonne truck down the mountain will take nerve and skill.
And she's a pretty steep gradient down through here, so we'll be steady, steady.
Go too hard on the brakes and they could burn out and fail.
Don't want to be riding the brakes down here, because if we heat them up, we'll be in the shit.
He's depending on his gears to slow his truck down. The descent is getting even steeper.
She's full on.
Miss a gear and his truckload of 45 cattle could freewheel out of control.
You go underneath the waterfall.
It's beautiful and deadly all at once.
She's full on. He's trying to run away.
Miss a gear and he risks racing to the bottom.
When the crunch came, he pulled it out of the bag. Yeah, it was pretty cool. I've never been down through there in a truck. It was a lot steeper than I thought it was going to be. I never thought it would be anything like that. Now we're heading for the meatworks. We're running a bit late.
Sludge's delivery point shuts its doors in 45 minutes. He's still got 60 kilometres to cover.
We've got to keep pedalling now as we want them off tonight. What a bloody ripper view that is.
But with spectacular views comes hordes of tourists.
And it's tourist season, so you just got to be a bit careful.
To make his deadline,
they heard us coming and they don't move over.
Sludge is going to have to navigate not only the roads,
You've got no idea that you got a death wish for these bush bikers.
but daredevil cyclists.
I don't think we'd pass with him on the bridge.
Single riders are bad enough, but then up ahead,
You've got to be shitting me.
it's as wide as a small car. On a blind corner, a slow-moving bicycle has forced Sludge to overtake on a long, blind corner.
Oh. Two trucks come upon each other. They look like minced meat out in the bush.
But now, Sludge can start to relax.
Run home run now. We're here, thank Christ.
And 20 minutes before closing time.
Let's get these babies off. Oh, yeah.
It's been one of the toughest weeks of his trucking life.
We're getting there.
But Sludge has taken it all in his stride.
Well, that was a pretty good experience. A bit different.